Breaking Down the Law is sponsored by Battle-Born Injury Lawyers.
Okay, so we've been talking about a lot here in the news. We've seen the pinch of coronavirus here in town already, canceled conventions, closed buffets, and now a Caesars employee sent home for wearing gloves at work, presumably to avoid catching the virus. However, the CDC saying that's not going to help you. So I think the big question here is, what are your rights as an employee? And a lot of people are worried, could they lose their job? So attorney Matt Hoffmann joining us from Battle-Born Injury Lawyers to kind of make it easy. There's a lot of panic and a lot of fear out there, but let's simplify. Think about it as just being sick.
Right.
What are your rights if you're wearing gloves?
Yeah,
Can you wear gloves? Can you get fired?
Yeah, and I mean, the short answer is yes, you can be fired if you're unable to perform your job duties, even if you're sick. But there's different protections in place.
Okay.
So we have federal law that protects most people. It's number one, if you're in a union, that's a whole different story. Whatever your union contract is, that's going to dictate a lot of this.
So a lot of our casino workers are going to be kind of falling under something different because the union will dictate those
rules. And the police and emergency responders, things like that. But just, for most employees are what's called at-will employees, which means that somebody can be fired for any reason that's not discriminatory. So if you can't do your job, you can lose your job. But federal law protects it. One of them is the federal law, the FMLA, the Medical Leave Act.
Right.
And so to qualify for that, basically, let's say you're sick, and you've been at a job for over a year, and you've averaged about 25 hours a week.
Okay.
If you do that, you qualify for FMLA, and you file paperwork. You have a doctor sign off. They're sick. They can't work. It protects your job for up to 6 months.
Okay.
Doesn't mean you get paid, but the job is still yours.
So if you do end up finding out that you are, in fact, inflicted with coronavirus, then you knew 2 weeks. We're looking at a quarantine type period. You can keep your job with FMLA rules.
Yes.
You just may not get paid.
Yeah, your job will be protected. You might not get paid. You can use up sick leave. I think a lot of employers are feeling pressured to do the right thing. If somebody is unfortunately inflicted with this, obviously, give them paid leave. But this is an issue that addresses more than just coronavirus. I mean, we have the flu here. We've had it forever.
Yes.
And it affects 30,000 people die of it every year.
And if you catch it, you are very sick and you are highly contagious.
And that's where we get to the people that are, so we have a gentleman, or we don't know if it's a man or woman, but they wanted to wear latex gloves. And Caesars says, well, look, this isn't a job where you're dealing with harsh chemicals or cleaning.
And you're not serving food.
Right, so let's say it was a dealer or somebody. We don't want you wearing gloves. It's making panic. And the CDC has said that the number one preventative measure is washing your hands. So gloves don't help. Masks don't help. So we have no reason to let you wear a mask or let you wear gloves while you're doing this job. They're well within their rights to make him go home if he's unwilling to work.
I see.
Conversely, let's say that you go to work and you have a sick employee, fellow employee, or again, the dealer example, a sick customer. Under OSHA, an employer has to provide a safe environment. That means safe from illness or injury. So if you go to your employer and say, hey, my coworker's sick, send him home. They refuse to send him home. You have an imminent fear that you're going to get sick because of this person. You can't just call OSHA and say, come in here and fix this. Right now, they can't do that.
Right.
Under those, and a reasonable person in your place would feel the same, you can go home and they can't fire you for that. You're protected under OSHA.
I see.
Most employers are obviously going to send sick customers and sick people home.
Sure.
But you don't have a right to come in and say, well, I want to wear a mask even though I'm a barista and scare all the customers away. You have no right to do that. I mean, if the CDC said, yes, masks help prevent you from getting this, that's a different story.
But they didn't.
They didn't. They say it's a good, masks work if you're already sick to keep other people from getting sick.
Yeah.
And under that, then yes, sure, whatever. Healthcare workers should wear it when they're dealing with these people. But as to the general employees, you do not have a right to wear a mask. You do not have a right to wear gloves unless the CDC was saying, yes, these will prevent you from getting sick.
Got it. Okay, that explains things, I think, very clearly, especially in this town where there is a lot of service industry and there is a lot of close interaction, what your rights are. Folks, if you have questions, I know Matthew's always willing to answer, so we will make you available, I should say.
We're going to do a Facebook Live right after this. I'll be happy to answer
even better.
questions.
So Facebook Live, hop on. Matthew will be able to answer any of the questions that you have, but this is a good way to kind of explain it. Obviously, there's a lot of fear out there. Just, take one breath.
Yeah.
Take a breath and move forward without panic.
Coronavirus is scary. The panic is much scarier.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. Matthew Hoffmann, thank you. Battle-born injury lawyers, we love having you explaining everything.